Didn't think it would do any good. Hey folks, it's Sascha here, and I'm back doing the broadcasting thing for the week and whatnot. And I'm actually kind of glad to be here just because I've been researching beacon stations and numbers stations the last 24 hours. When I got home from DragonCON last night, we'll talk about that in a minute too, by the way, had caught an article that kind of freaked me out. The concept of numbers stations. There's a buddy of mine put the article up on Facebook about these stations that are abandoned. There's nobody there, yet they're still transmitting on shortwave frequencies. The most famous of one, I guess, after I've been reading just a little bit here, is the Buzzer. And you guys can Google that on YouTube. I'll probably link it in the bottom just to tie it to me and get the SEO out of that. But it was really interesting. Because actually, the last, I'd say, 48 hours, 24 hours, yeah, give or take, since having come back from DragonCon, been kind of being steered unconsciously in this direction, where I'm going into, well, that thing for one, and I'll get back to how that works to writing in a minute, but the number stations, the beacon stations, they sound fucking creepy, man. I mean, yeah. I have a bit of an obsession with shit like Chernobyl. Not the actual event, I mean, that's a horrible, awful thing that happened, and nobody wants it to happen again, but I have this obsession with looking at the photographs of the abandoned area. I like looking at that shit. I spent an entire 2 hours a few years ago just going through photos of that sort of thing, and I like abandoned military installations. I've seen some footage or some photos in Russia in particular during the Cold War era that were taken, I'd say 10 years ago at this point, and you had these kids who were middle schoolers learning how to use, because the guns are still up there on the wall, learning how to use the traditional Kalashnikov, or as we call it here in the States, the AK. Anyway, I like that kind of stuff. And I was watching, by now y'all probably figured out that I've been watching a lot of Angry Pepe and Gulf City News and all that sort of stuff. Well, last night when I was watching it, to tie it back even further, one more weird step, they had put up a mock parody cartoon of the Twilight Zone, which I grew up on. Not officially the first run through, but I watched a lot of reruns as a child growing up, and found that Rod Serling was a fantastic master of suspense, only equaled by somebody like Alfred Hitchcock in a different vein. Well, anyway, that being said, I'm in the middle of redoing Stalker. It's time for that thing to get off my desk and into some editing hands. And I really want to take this world that I've created and flesh it out. I'd like to put my extra 10,000 words back in the originals, in the version you guys are going to see at some point, really, but that's not going to happen, even if I flesh it out. I really want to develop this Third Reich world of the Unseelie, because later on, I'm going to have to tear it down. As you know, what goes up and gets built big and it's evil has to get taken down. So, without giving away too much, I want to really create this, I guess, dystopian / cyberpunk thing is the best way to explain it. And the odd thing about this is I wasn't really caring about any of this for the last 2 weeks. I've had in my mind, well, without giving out the actual information, I can't share that on the video, but without giving away information, Rule 1, stock investing. So you guys gotta get a look at this and be amused or confused, one of the two. Let's see. Other way. So I'm looking at a random stock. You guys are not gonna see that at all, are you? That's gonna suck. Hold on, let me try this. Oh, it's okay. Let's say by those numbers. Okay, maybe that'll show up. Okay, anyway, from that angle, you guys can see there's a line chart, pie chart, graph charts, all this other stuff, right? Well, that's where I've had my head. My youngest girlfriend was here and we did the Rule 1 seminar. Had a really good time there. It was really, really intense. Basically from 7:30 in the morning to like 9:30 at night, they had us going over information about how to make money in the stock market the proper way, the Warren Buffett way, which I understand Phil Town's explanation of Warren Buffett stuff. I understand the basics about Buffettology. His higher concepts elude me, and I don't know what that's about, but anyway, so that's where my head's been at. And I've really not been a writer. I'm going to bed after watching GCN instead of editing a novel or whatever I should be doing. That's going to stop. I'm taking kind of tonight to kind of reintegrate into being a writer and then getting my place cleaned up and back to schedule, because I won't have anyone here until maybe October, but if not, I imagine that my youngest girlfriend will be here potentially at the end of the year, and I know that I'll see the middle girlfriend in a few weeks, give or take, as well, depending on how she gets her stuff sorted out also. But that being said, I'm alone for a while, and I can get work done as a writer and really focus on continuing to build the brand and get these videos up and get them recorded in time. And then, like I told you guys a few weeks ago, I got this device to start podcasting with, and once I kind of figure out some show notes for different things, I'm going to start running a podcast across, I guess, SoundCloud? I don't know. I'll look into some different things, though. But, yeah, and I actually was trying to see if I could figure out how to take the numbers stations and the beacon stations and write that in a little bit to the world of Chasing the Witch, which I just finished a few weeks ago, as you guys know, just because it would give another element of, or another layer to my Illuminati-like organization. And I really just want to make sure I create that best mental picture for you. So here's a writer tip for you guys before I sign off. If you don't show the reader what you want them to see, they will see what they want to see. Doesn't matter what your fiction looks like, they will see what they want to see unless you show them something different. Keep that in mind. DragonCON was fun. I have some changes to make. Once again, I know I say that after every fucking convention I do. And it all boils down to a topic we'll cover once again: drinking. Late night anyway, not daytime. Although that was a thing too, as it's DragonCON. But the mental state and why. And that's actually going to be, it'll be a YouTube post for this channel, but I'm also thinking about doing it for Gail Z. Martin's Hold On to the Light campaign. I really think it needs to be approached. I was talking to a buddy of mine yesterday, author Anthony Francis, writes fantasy from what I remember. Really good guy. I'm glad we get to hang out for that matter. But we were talking about this back and forth, and as you guys have been watching, I've been doing the mental growth and the mental transformations, and there is no one fixed solution. There isn't. You aren't born screwed up, but your parents fuck you up, and society fucks you up, and you fuck yourself up by buying the shit you got sold. Unless you stop buying it and change the game internally. Sometimes that takes a minute. Usually it doesn't take more than, well, a long time. So constant growth is a thing. And I may try to find a way to relate that information out to Gail's campaign again this year. I'll do 2 blog posts for her too. Number 1, it's good content for all of us. Number 2, it's an important subject, the mental health issues behind writers. A lot of us are extroverts. I have a lot of fun going out and smoking with the readers, smoking cigars and drinking and having a good time with the readers. I do kind of feel like I fit in better at Highland in the real world, even though I meant to fit in the other world better initially. And we'll talk about that at some other point. But I really have a good time with the readers and the other writers. I like hanging out with other authors when they're of quality and caliber. When they're not, then I like to hopefully inspire them and help them grow so that they can become of caliber and quality. Whatever that means to them is what it really means now, not my definition. I don't really care. Fuck it, my channel. But anyway, so there's that. But then you guys have seen the apartment or bits and pieces of it. I live alone, luckily, no pets. I miss having puppies, but some nights, you know. Anyway, most nights are filled with getting the words out on paper. I have this new beautiful big keyboard from Microsoft. I love it. I'm looking forward to starting a new project. It's going to be the last thing I do for the year, and it's going to be aimed at I love vampire novels because it'll be that paranormal thing, and I just really want to see how much faster I am with this keyboard. Right now I can tell you what I have noticed is that since I'm not doing anything for speed right now and trying to bang out a draft, what I am doing is a lot of backup work for one of my clients, a lot of email back and forth, even though I tend to detest it more often than not. And obviously I'm talking to the girlfriends online every day. And with the older two keyboards, even though I love the Zoom text keyboard because I can see it at night. And even if I put a light in this area, it's still one of those things where the contrast is so great from my eyes that it makes it easier for me to see. But that keyboard is, I sit there and hit the things, and it's really responsive. I love it. I keep missing keys on it because for some reason the spacebar and my right thumb don't want to work together very well. I blame that as a user error for the most part. But it hurts my wrists. There's shooting pain right up in here and then right up in here as well, on top especially. And I really want to get rid of that. And this keyboard here will do that. It will lessen it. And I can take fewer sea salt baths. So, also, sorry guys, this has kind of thrown me for a loop. I'm not used to the camera being where it's at. Normally you guys see me and I'm at the window right here and it's just literally straight ahead with a touch of an angle on the phone because the phone, where's my phone? There it is. The phone usually sits just like that, a touch, because of it being leaning against the Kindle. And I'm still learning how to get the best pictures and whatnot in video from my iPad. So I'm gonna let you guys go, and I'll be around Friday to talk about, I don't know, but I'll be doing live on Facebook Friday, and yeah, so until then, if you like my videos and prefer and love the content, please like and subscribe, share the content all over the place. I really do want to find the best way for me to help authors grow their careers, and that is through this means. No longer is it through editing. Editing sucked my soul out, basically. And I'll talk about that later on, more in depth, because I know I keep saying it, but I haven't really explained what that means in the long run. So I'm going to go ahead and say sign off, and until then, Chatelet and cheers.